That's music right there from the Drive-By Truckers. Easy on yourself here on KYMO.
Never play that.
You're listening to Lloyd. You're listening to classic KYMO and Shotgun Radio 97.1. And Lloyd Rice, Becky Ivester, they're both in here this morning. It is our Wednesday GoSEMO Fiber, SEMO Electric chat. Lloyd, what's going on?
Hey, Reed, how are you, man?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Nice picture of us on the social media this morning.
It was. Becky does good with limited resources. Resources, yeah. So you guys have apparently got a lot of rain. Every ditch is full down 105.
It's everybody got rain and storms the other night in the area, no doubt about it. But it seemed like there were several locations, and one of them was here locally, that we just got under a cloud. And
you can tell.
It was reported, Mayor Kevin Maynard said 3.7 inches in downtown East Prairie. There was hail. Now, again, as Joe Crane and I were talking, you go 4 or 5 miles out of town here or there. Not near as much rain. Still a lot, but not near as much. There was just, a core that kind of passed right over in this immediate area. So, unfortunately, some farmers have some drowned out corn or other early plantings. But
we've got some
sunny skies.
Absolutely. We got some guys with us up from the state of Mississippi.
This morning.
And they, of course, lucky they brought pullovers and appropriate gear, right? Welcome to Missouri weather. It's 40 degrees this morning, and that makes no sense.
Well, and you speak of the severe weather and the whatnot. These guys are with one of the co-ops down there in Mississippi that we're going to introduce here in just a second. They are no stranger to some recent severe weather.
Absolutely, right.
In the Tupelo area, they had a big tornado just the other day. It was all over the news because the drone footage of it and everything else. So
Matt and his group are from Tom Bigby Electric Power Association.
Tom Bigby.
Basically, a river, right?
Yeah,
or a waterway that divides the good state of Mississippi and Alabama at some point.
So welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, it's glad to have you, and I like the shirt. That is slick. So they're in kind of looking over what you guys are doing. This is the sharing part that you always talk about.
So what should scare everyone, Reed? They're up here for some ideas and training from us.
Excellent.
So, right?
Yeah, well.
Again, limited resources. The co-op community. No, again, one of those great opportunities. Co-ops, sharing with co-ops. Matt and his group, a group of board members and the general manager, CEO at the time, came up before they got into the fiber service a short 2 years ago.
Okay.
Mississippi as a state has really done a good job in blanketing their state. Most of the cooperatives or power associations in the state of Mississippi actually do fiber broadband projects, and Mississippi really grabbed that energy. Their statewide organization and leadership really took hold of those opportunities a couple years ago, about the time when we were really gaining some energy, and they came up and visited. And again, I'll let Matt share a little bit, but around Tupelo, around some great parts of the country, right? We love that part of the country, and just an opportunity to share information and trade stories.
Yeah, I was going to say the sharing of information, the layouts, because you can get ideas from them, they get ideas from you. But the bottom line is Mississippi, a lot like Missouri, yes, population centers, but very rural in its overall scope, correct?
That's correct, and that's why we got into this business. We were seeing our rural members, didn't have opportunities to have internet service. So the densely populated areas on our service territory had options, but our rural members did not. So we came out, like Lloyd said, a couple of years ago. They were gracious enough here at GoSEMO to have us share with us, and we were looking into getting into the broadband business, and then started our project about a year and a half ago, and now we're at 3,000 customers, approaching 3,000 customers. So it's moving fast, and but it's good for our membership.
Do you see it growing statewide? I mean, you guys with the Tom Bigby group, obviously, does it spread to the next cooperative? Because we've seen that in Missouri. Are you seeing that in Mississippi?
Definitely. I think we have around 25 cooperatives in Mississippi. Probably 18 of those are doing a broadband project. So, yes, it is growing.
What are some of the obstacles that you may have run into or are running into?
Obstacles is, you know, it's just when you're building out like we are, you're managing a lot of contractors, a lot of groups. We have about 200 feet on the ground every day building this project. You're building areas of your membership, and you have questions about why are you not, in our area, and that's hard to manage. But we're fortunate to have a good membership that is being patient with us, and we're gonna reach all our members. It's just gonna take us a little time because it is a massive project. You're building 3,000 to 4,000 miles of fiber, and we have 44,000 members. So it takes some time.
Factor in Mother Nature.
That's right.
She has her little fits here and there that we run into it here. It can be too wet. It can be too this. It can you get a storm, and then all of a sudden now not only are you dealing with maybe wet soils and trying to dig or do everything, now you got trees down and power lines down and all those other things. But obviously there's been a big response. Overall, I'm sure that it's been very positive. There's a lot of people now that have opened up to the world. Because with the pandemic, did you see that being it was important before, but the pandemic really for us opened things up. People really started to rely and needed these broadband services.
No doubt about it. We saw the need, virtual learning, telemedicine. I mean, it was critical when the pandemic hit. And now we really see the need. Glad we had already started down the path of offering the service, but it just accelerated our project. Really, we're turning a 4-year project into 3. So really, through CARES Act, other funding, it really accelerated our project.
Well, now when you do, you travel up because it's not that far. I mean, Tupelo here is a couple hours. Yeah, 3.5, 4, 5. Well, it depends on how fast you go.
And which direction, which route you take, right?
I'm not advocating. Sorry, Sheriff Farrell. I didn't say that. No, but that being said, being able to come up and share, having a sit down, with Lloyd and Sean and the rest of them at GoSEMO Fiber and SEMO Electric. Obviously, I call it brainstorming because a lot of times people within my industry that are still in radio television, I get on the phone with some of my old friends and be like, hey, what's up? What about this? Let me bounce this off of you. What do you think? It's indispensable to me to have that opportunity to do that.
It's been awesome for us. I know, it's a new venture for us, and like I said, the GoSEMO team has been gracious enough to share with us. They've traveled this road. We've got a new fiber sales specialist that we hired about a month ago, Thomas Groom. So that's kind of why we're here to talk about commercial sales. We're branching off into that. A large portion of our customer base right now is residential. We're branching off into commercial, voice. So it's good that we can visit the GoSEMO team and bounce ideas off them.
Well, I can tell you, and it's easier for me to say because they're in front of me, but I will say it behind their back too. What a great group of people. Unfortunately, I know that we've lost a couple of really good.
We have.
It's been Becky, Brenna and Katie both have moved on.
To preface that by the fact that they did graduate, so it was time to go get a real job, right? But the girls part of the intern Katie kind of started with us 3 years ago. Brenna came that next summer, and those ladies are going to do some great stuff.
Corey leaves us next Friday.
Corey is going to leave us next Friday, so.
Really?
It isn't that Becky's cleaning house, but
well, now will there be a new batch coming in?
We don't know. We don't know what
we're,
that's going to look like.
Okay.
Reed, we're kind of winging it right now.
Well, they were a great group.
Was great group,
no doubt about it. At the forefront of this, I mean, they could look back, and you guys too can say, yes, we have, and these people came in, but these girls were in the van. These girls were sitting out front of different businesses and different parking lots through, the heat of the summer and signing people.
And we will continue that.
You know what, Reed? Just like your radio background and my whatever background, that'll always. What's so cool is that they'll always be that we feel like they're really a step ahead of others that age, right? Because man, we threw them in a truck and we carted them, and they've done everything from a parade to a tent at an Advanced ballpark to an event at East Prairie,
and the creative ideas they brought us for marketing
and these are marketing ideas that you guys can learn from, or there's some ideas that maybe they brought to the table for you guys.
Absolutely. We feel like, and again, Matt in their project is very much, while bigger, it's just scaled twice as big, right? Because their co-op is quite a bit bigger. Kind of common in Mississippi, the co-ops are a little bigger. Missouri has 40 co-ops, Mississippi has 25.
Right.
They cover a little more square footage, whereas Missouri's co-ops tend to be a little bit smaller, a little more territorial. I have no idea why that is. When they start in TVA customers,
everything's bigger in Mississippi.
He says on, we say on.
There you go.
So but a really one thing Matt and them, are doing right is just embracing the fact that, and we've talked it here 100 times, Reed. We don't really know all the answers. This is our first lap through. This is 1942 at the electric co-op, and we're finding some things out that we'll back up and do that different if we go this path again. But for the most part, making lives better, those core elements of why you do a fiber project, was the same for them in rural Mississippi as it was in southeast Missouri. And
in any project, and you guys have run into it just like you guys have, and just like we have here with the radio station. Sometimes you got to go, back up, punt. Okay, now we learned. Now let's get the ball back, and we can move forward this way.
And you probably get that opportunity a little more in the cooperative family of business. We're not necessarily, oh my gosh. Theirs is a $95 million project. Ours is a $50 million project. So again, very scalable. They've had to spin up some resources. They're hiring some new people, just like we've been able to. And while still being ready for, being very prudent for what's just beyond that. We've got an annual meeting coming up. They'll probably have some sort of, and it's very, it's such a similar look, even state to state and region to region, and getting out of those silos. Cooperatives probably do that now better than we've ever done in our history. Storm damage, I'm sure these guys send people to the coast every major storm, and it's just kind of what we do. There's a lot of parts of that that are really neat, and just help us be better, Reed. We don't know what we don't know, and thank goodness we've got at least a management team and a CEO that lets us get out and do what they're doing.
Well, and all this being said, shame you didn't come next week for the annual meeting, because that's going to be a big hootenanny coming up on Thursday, a week from tomorrow. Of course, we're going to be there at KYMO Live. We're going to be talking with you guys and letting everybody know what's going on. And into the afternoon and evening, next Thursday, out at the rodeo grounds, the big annual meeting for SEMO Electric and the Cooperative. That's going to be some fun. But and you know what? That's another opportunity for people to talk. When you're bringing your family members in, when you're bringing your cooperative members in, and everybody gets to, kind of vote on this, talk about that. You're seeing your board members, all those things. Communication is key. I don't care what it is. And communication has always been the key. And while this is fine, doing this, I'm faking texting something. I always think that face-to-face contact, seeing people, being out there and amongst the people, you communicate better when you're face-to-face.
We can. Expanded the hours on that, Reed, so it is from 10 to, probably need to be there at least by 6 p.m. because we'll quit registration and start the business meeting at 6, I believe. So we need you there from 10 to 6. We're going to do the business portion of the meeting and that from 6 to, whatever that looks like.
We're going to be there broadcasting live around from 3 to 6 somewhere that afternoon.
We're going to we're going to announce some winners of a contest we've had going, Reed. Our essay contest, our paragraph contest. We're going to announce those here next Wednesday morning. So we've decided on the 3 winners, and what they did, Reed, was they basically wrote a short story about how GoSEMO has made their lives better during pandemic, the last 3 years, or holy smokes, I just was able to get service 2 months ago,
Right.
and it looks like this. So you're going to like those stories, and again, we're going to get them out to the annual meeting on next Thursday,
Well, good.
and just
Maybe if you pick one in particular, I will read it.
absolutely.
If you can bring that, I'll read it. I'll read that. Maybe not the whole thing, but portions. of it.
Absolutely, you can read.
I
the
mean,
whole thing.
I'm not
Yeah.
Morgan
It's
Freeman
not.
reading something.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, you'll do whatever.
I mean, Morgan Freeman can read the directions to an IKEA cabinet, and
That's
he'd be
right.
like,
I gotta go get that thing.
mesmerized. Yeah, whoa.
We'll do that. I think that's good. I'll
that'd
put
be
it in the
cool.
big print
Yeah,
version for you.
please.
So
It's the bigger the better. Well, listen, guys, thanks for coming up.
Thanks for having
and
us.
coming in here from the Tom Bigby
Tom.
Electrical Cooperative. And if
Tom
you don't
Bigby.
know what the Tom Bigby is, look it up.
Right.
Big,
So
a big project in itself.
if you travel to the Gulf, at least from southeast Missouri, you cut through their area, right?
Yeah.
Heading to the Gulf. So
Sure.
everybody's probably been across the Tom Bigby, whether you knew it or not down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, of course, I've got family in Hattiesburg, my uncle's down there, and others, and so, yeah, I mean, Mississippi, great state, and again, thanks for coming up. Did they go to Lambert's?
Okay. They've been to Lambert's, and they don't talk nearly as slow as we expected. We had
Sure. You
Mississippi
gotta watch this
Bill.
guy. You gotta watch this guy.
They all my friends from St. Louis do that. They're like, well, we'll slow it down.
Right.
We'll.
Yeah, we'll
But
make it.
no, again, from the great state of Mississippi, again, a state that really has embraced the challenges and
Sure.
the broadband divide that was very real and relevant to them, and applaud them as a state for really pumping some CARES Act money directly into that process. And Tom Bigby is just one example, but one of the really good examples of taking an area that really needed a change and doing something about it.
Well, and just like ours. Well, guys, Becky, thank you for doing the camera work here. She's turned it into a pro
It
with
is
this
pretty
thing on
good.
Facebook Live.
We're getting-
We're getting some tips on
Getting
that.
Yeah,
more
see,
tips.
there you go.
And
More
once
tips,
again,
more
it
names.
come to see Lloyd, but it's turned into the Becky show.
Right, really?
So,
I mean, look,
you know,
it always is that
it
way.
always is,
It's
and,
nothing we can do about
Reed
that.
does get nervous about the top of the hour. He's got to pay bills.
It's that
and-
time thing, and you start crunching things, and you got to. But now we will talk next week, the
Absolutely.
day before the
That's right.
annual meeting.
We're going to be in
that
here
we'll be having.
Wednesday
So,
morning.
yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys then. And again, guys, thanks for coming in, and hope you enjoyed your stay here in Southeast Missouri.
We
Folks
did.
on Facebook Live, thanks for tuning in. Lloyd, Becky, and the crew with GoSEMO Fiber, SEMO Electric. This is our Wednesday chat. We appreciate them coming in and bringing their friends from Mississippi. 53 sunny.